Tottenham Hotspur have a huge problem. And if this problem is not rectified in the remainder of the transfer window, Tottenham could finish anywhere between 4th and 9th. And let me break down what that problem is. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button. The road to 20,000 is well and truly on. We've just hit 19,100. Big up to 19K. The support genuinely at times is ridiculous on this channel. So thank you for being with me on this journey. Make sure you get down, drop a like as always, and let me know your thoughts. Where will Tottenham finish this Premier League season? Because I think we're going to be the most unpredictable side to predict this Premier League season. Now, if you cast your mind back to last season under Ange Postecoglou, Tottenham had a very strong start to the season. We won 9 out of our first 10 games. We looked brilliant. We didn't have any injuries. We were really attacking teams, scoring goals for fun, dominating possession, inverting our fullbacks, really strangling teams' midfields and defences. But going into this season, it could be completely different. And mark my words, Tottenham could either finish anywhere between 4th and 8th. And let me break down why that is. When you look at this is what I think Tottenham's 11 is going to look like for the first game of our season against Leicester on the Monday night at the King Power Stadium. I think it will look something like this. Vicario in goal, a back four of Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Destiny Udogie. Bentancur will play in the defensive-minded position. Sarr, kind of number 8, Maddison 10, Kulu on the right, Son on the left, Dominic Solanke through the middle. Now, on paper, that looks like a fantastic side. Most people would say this team here will be challenging for the top 4. And I think that's a fair assessment. What I have major red flags about is we have not got a number 6. Bissouma is predominantly an 8. Bentancur can play there, but I don't think he's an anchor, sort of destroyer number 6 that we desperately need. We've got Archie Gray that can play there, but we're asking a lot for an 18-year-old to be our defensive-minded player going into next season. Then you've got the likes of Bergvall, who's predominantly an 8, Maddison, who's a 10, Sarr, who's an 8, Ollie Skip, not really strong enough. So that is the first red flag, Bentancur. Not necessarily Bentancur, but Bentancur having to play that position. Plus, Bentancur has had big injuries in the last 2 years. The second red flag is our defence. Actually, now Bentancur has had huge injuries himself, but the problem for me is our back line. Emerson Royale has just now joined AC Milan. Ashley Phillips is wanted by Getafe, which means our backup right back will be Jed Spence. We would only really have one out-and-out centre-back as backup, which would be Radu Dragusin at centre-back, and we don't have a backup left-back. Now, Destiny Udogie, Van de Ven have all had huge injury concerns within the last 12 months. Van de Ven missed 3 games of last season. Udogie has missed 2 months of last season. And if Destiny Udogie gets injured, Van de Ven will be our left-back, and I am not convinced that hamstring is going to last the majority of this Premier League season. Now, I personally have got huge concerns going into next season. Huge concerns. Our front line, I think, is strong. You've got depth of the likes of Brennan Johnson, Richarlison. You know, you've got the likes of Timo Werner. You've got some decent options. Midfield is pretty stacked in the attacking roles and the number 10 roles. You've got Bergvall, you've got Archie Gray. But we do not have adequate depth for me in the centre-back positions. And we do not have adequate depth in full-back positions. Now, of course, this could all be rectified going into the remainder of the transfer window. There's still, 16, 17 days left. Tottenham could rectify that and we could have a fantastic season. Now, when you look at the other Premier League teams, the fact that Aston Villa don't have European football, they can keep Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, and Alexander Isak fit. They will be a strong side next season. Who knows what's going to happen with Chelsea? Very unpredictable side. Could finish 4th, could finish 10th. West Ham, I think, will be a bit of a dark horse this season. Then you've got the likes of Aston Villa. How will they get on throughout Europe? Then you've got the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, and City, which you'd imagine will be the top three. Man United, everything seems to be going well over at Man United at the moment. And another thing is, you've got to throw on the fact that this team last season only played 41 games. This season, as a bare minimum, add on an extra 10 games. 8 games in the Europa League, group stage. The likelihood is Tottenham would get out of the group, and then we play the likes of a last 32, last 16. You'd hope Tottenham would get to a minimum of the quarterfinals. That's 10 to 12 Europa League games. You'd hope Tottenham would get to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and League Cup. That's another 5 games, 6 games. Before you know it, Tottenham have played a 54, 55 game season. Do we have strong enough depth going into next season? Looking at this team, I don't know, guy. I'm going to be honest. If you look at the defensive options, Man United, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, City, Arsenal have all got, and you look at our options, if Van de Ven gets an injured, the backup's Ben Davies. If Romero gets an injury, the backup is Radu Dragusin. We don't have a backup for Destiny Udogie because Sergio Reguilon is wanted by other clubs. We don't really have a backup for Pedro Porro because our backup is Jed Spence. If Solanke gets an injury, our backup is Richarlison. We have got a huge problem in that number 6 role. Last season, Tottenham conceded a hell of a lot of goals. Over 60 Premier League goals last season, Tottenham conceded. Over 60. That is absolutely huge. Huge. To give you some sort of context, the only teams that conceded more goals than us were the only teams that didn't concede less goals than us were Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle, and West Ham. Everyone else in the league, like at one point, we had the 6th worst defense. We cannot go into a Premier League season next season conceding 61 goals. That is absolutely, we just can't do it. 61 goals. Look, we conceded more goals than Man United, more goals than Liverpool, more goals than Arsenal, more goals than City, more goals than Palace, 1 less than Brighton, a few less than Bournemouth, the same amount as Fulham, more than Everton, only a few less than Brentford, only a few less than Forest. Obviously, Sheffield United is just ridiculous, but we can't go into next season, only having 13 goal difference. And the Premier League this season, for me, is going to be the hardest Premier League table to predict because there's so many strong sides. So many strong sides. Let me know your thoughts down below. Where do you think Tottenham will finish? How do you think Tottenham will get on in the Premier League season? I'll be honest, for me, I don't really know what to feel. I mean, like I said, we could finish anywhere between literally 10th, 8th, 4th. Who knows? We could have a great season. I think we're going to be very, very, very reliant on the likes of Dominic Solanke. Very, very reliant on Dominic Solanke. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you have dropped a like. And I'm very much looking forward to the Premier League season. We've got just over a couple of days to go. The first Premier League game of the season, Friday night, Manchester United will play Fulham. Man United have had a lot of good news recently. The likes of Bruno Fernandes has just signed a new contract. And I think it's going to be a very, very interesting season for them. I do. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you have subscribed. Make sure you do like the video. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.